Hey guys, welcome to Voice of Reason with Nathan. As always, we are about knowing the Lord and making Him known. And in today's episode, we're going to be looking at responsibility and the importance of this tool to take back control over your life, to be empowered to achieve your values and live a life according to what you want to achieve and your goals and, really live the life that God's called you to. And in order to do this, we need to stop doing the opposite of responsibility. And I define responsibility as your ability to respond, or even your abilities to respond to whatever is going on internally and externally. But it starts internally with taking responsibility over yourself, your thoughts, feelings, your behaviors, your beliefs, and then externally you're able to move through those situations that you're going through in a more effective and empowered way. And the opposite of responsibility is when we point the finger and we blame. And when we blame, what we're doing, we've got three fingers pointing back at us, right? And the first thing that happens is it takes away our choices. It externalizes our responsibility, and we don't have any choices in that situation. It's not my fault. I can't do anything about it, and in a sense, we're telling ourselves, the second thing is we're telling ourselves that I don't have any ability in this, I'm putting my responsibility, I'm externalizing it to the circumstance, the situation, the person. And then the third thing it does, it reduces us. It reduces our zone of control. And in so doing, it just takes away our empowerment. It takes away our abilities. It takes away, from our responsibility. And all of a sudden we find ourselves, depressed, anxious, just emotionally unstable and in a place where we don't need to be. And I have personal lived experience of this 100%, blaming all sorts of different situations and people and all sorts of things, even blaming mental health stuff that I went through growing up, all sorts of things. And when I took responsibility, it empowered me to live a life that is in line with my values, that's in line with my calling that God's given us, that's in line with my goals, and help me to start achieving those goals. And so there's four things I want to share with you today and how you can take back responsibility over your life. And they are, number one, what happened? Number two, what's happening? Number three, what's going to happen? And number four, make it happen. So the first point in what happened, what that's talking about is assessing, taking stock of the situation. What's happened? Where are you? What's the environment? Who were the people involved? It's just about taking a factual analysis of the situation. It's not about putting a bias on it. It's not about trying to interpret the situation, just purely taking stock what actually happened, even the timing of the event or the circumstances that have occurred. All the factual information, almost like you're an observer or a reporter, just reporting the facts of the situation and just observing it as best as you can. Number two, what's happening? So that's really talking about what's happening in you. What are your feelings? What's your emotional honesty that you need to have right there? What's really going on internally for you? What are your thoughts? What are your behaviors? What was your role to play in that circumstance? And, how are you feeling about it? What are your thoughts around that? That's where you're starting to really interpret the situation for what it really is. And does your response, does your behavior line up with your values? Does it line up with your goals? Is it going to help you to get from A to B? And this brings me to my next point, step 3, what's going to happen, right? So we've got what's happened, what's happening, what's going to happen. So now I want you to think about planning. I want you to think about the choices you have. And so if what's happening for you in that moment is not in line with what you'd like to see happen, then you need to realign your behavior, realign your thought process, realign your belief systems around your values and your goals and how you can respond differently. What are the choices you can make in that situation to be empowered to, have a more productive response to it? And rather than being reactive to it, you can actually be proactive, and start to plan and make choices that will help you to do that. And part of that might be that you need to talk to someone, need to maybe, if it's a workplace scenario, where you keep having to stay back late after work. You might need to talk to your manager, and ultimately it might mean that you might need to move, you might need to move, change jobs. There's all sorts of different scenarios. If it's in a relationship setting, maybe you need to be emotionally honest about that and talk to your partner about how you really feel, what's really going on for you. Be open about that. I've done a talk recently on emotional honesty and the three key areas there of, inspection, connection, and salvation, and really developing an emotional honesty, a vocabulary to be able to do that. So check that out. That might help you as well with really planning and making choices and how to proceed when you're in this place of taking back responsibility over your life. And then the fourth step, it's so important, because even if you do the first three, that's great, and it develops awareness, and it can really whet your appetite for, okay, I can do something about this. The fourth step is where the rubber hits the road, and that's make it happen. And what I mean by that is you've made the plan, and now you take action. You actually put those steps into action. You actually go and talk to that person. You actually write down these steps. You actually, do something about what you believe needs to happen, and not just say, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, but you go ahead and do it. And it might be that you need to manage your time better. If you keep turning up late to appointments, or, you might need to start to shift how you do things, shift your schedule, talk to people, all sorts of different things that, depending on the scenario that you're taking back ownership and responsibility of, you're going to be empowered and enabled to do that. But it's only going to happen when you start to take those steps forward. And that's the thumb, right? That's the one that covers the other three fingers. When we're pointing our finger, that's the one that covers them, right? And that is only going to happen when you take those steps forward. So I hope that this has encouraged you and helps you to take back responsibility over your life and not playing the blame game. And if you've been doing that, just reflect on what I'm sharing, and hopefully this helps you to do this in a way that I know has worked for a lot of clients, where they just realize, they have that light bulb moment that I had and continue to have. It's easy to slip back into old ways sometimes, and so I hope this helps you to have that structure, to take back your abilities, to be aware of your abilities to respond to the situations that you might be in, whatever they might be. So the first one was what happened, what's happening, what's going to happen, and the last one there is make it happen. Be blessed, guys. Send me a comment if you like, and hope this has encouraged you.